Okay, we are live. Okay, cool.
Sweet.
We are live, and
Hey, I actually did it on the event as well. Very
Did it
nice.
really?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
no, I told
Well,
you
hello.
it's not totally. I'm not a total boomer at the moment.
You just started blaming the bloody free software instead.
You know what? I will blame the free software instead, because when you're actually sort of sitting there and it just crashes for no particular reason and breaks the connection, then that wasn't me. That literally was OBS having a senior moment, not me having a senior moment. But it seems to be up and running now. So let's give it a go and see if this actually works as a stream and stuff. Because new technology and all of that. I don't know. I used to use my 8mm and my handheld mic and my notepad and pencil. But you kids use these internet things.
Fucking
Get on
boomer.
with it.
Get on with it.
Right, well, yes, welcome back to everyone that's actually watching it with the show, which is probably no one at the moment. I might actually go on with another account just to boost my numbers and make me feel better in them.
State of you.
At least I'm not talking to myself in the chat anymore. Oh, I thought that was a good moment.
Special.
That was a low moment.
That
Was
a
it a
special
low moment or was it a high point? I look back at that and I see.
You made bedrock look like paper. How low you sunk.
I thought it was getting quite meta, personally. Anyway, we've had some interesting stuff in the news over the last couple of days. It's been fun. I thought we would crack on through that. But does any of you guys before we get started had anything amusing happen to you in your life over the last few days you'd like to share with our audience member?
Oh, it was pretty funny. Recently there was a car crash near my motorway because it was an elderly couple who was driving on the wrong side of the road. That was
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Yeah, no, it was they traveled. It must have been at least maybe 2 miles on the wrong side of the road on a motorway before they crashed, and so because the motorways all blocked up, we had a whole bunch of shit come through our village. It was pretty good, pretty nice. But other than that, nope, nothing amusing.
Nothing to do with a certain food.
No, there's no need.
No need for that.
So let me not be the only one to dox myself here. Come on, guys, please.
Nothing happened. For me, at least.
It's funny you should bring up the elderly driving on the wrong side of the road and so on, because that's something that happened to my grandfather actually a year before he died. Is he was, as far as the police were concerned, as far as the healthcare people were concerned, completely and utterly capable of driving. Would no way in their right mind, nobody would take his driving license away from him. And there was a couple of members of the family were starting to express concerns as to whether or not someone in their 90s should be driving around on the road. And lo and behold, he had that exact type of accident. He'd basically fallen asleep, actually, and had proceeded to drive across the road into oncoming traffic. Fortunately, the oncoming traffic wasn't moving fast enough to actually have an accident, and yeah, he ended up in an embankment and on the other side of the road, and very nearly caused a very nasty accident, but actually didn't, fortunately, and no one was hurt. But we do seem to have an issue with not taking enough care. We are very careful about who we let on the roads with our driving tests. And then once they've passed that driving test, that's it, carte blanche, they can drive forever. And it does sometimes worry me that there are people driving around out there that desperately need mobility, that can't actually can't afford to give up their car because maybe they live in the countryside or something. There's no buses. And they are an absolute massive danger to themselves, everyone around them, and everything else. Concerning, certainly a little bit concerning, but
yeah,
we will see. There we go. Sorry, I was having a slight moment with the formatting because there's something we're going to have crack on with the news now. And it's something that's quite a little close to home. First of all, to kick us off with, which I noticed Twitter had kicked off with this sort of a few articles, and I thought let's have a quick look into whether this is true or not. And it turns out that yes, lo and behold, here we go. Just transition the page over here. There was a piece.
Whoa!
There was
Sorry.
a piece.
Are we gonna is it gonna be a fade? Is it gonna be a nice cross fade?
Well, we
Oh, man,
can't
I'm
see
waiting
it
in
yet,
anticipation.
but how long did you put this delay on for?
For 5
Great.
minutes, apparently.
Is that not
Jesus.
transitioned across? That's sorry.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's not yet on the stream. I don't know how much of a...
I don't know why it's not. It should be.
Oh, there we go.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay. Damn, we have a
That was a very
delay here.
attack-based fade.
We
Yeah,
have.
that's a massive delay. But oh well, never mind.
That was like
Okay.
30 seconds.
Okay,
deal with
that's yeah. No, I've new settings, new things I've been twiddling around with, and they're not working as I was hoping. Okay, in fact, quite the opposite. In fact, yeah, no, basically, and this comes as a with a bit of backdrop that last year I think it was, or maybe even it was as far back as 2016. Certain counties in England decided to adopt misogyny laws, anti-misogyny laws based on the gender equality legislation. That basically sort of said that yes, okay, if you were an evil, terrible misogynist who hated women, etc., etc., that was going to be against the law because of gender equality reasons. Well, it seems that this has been picked up and run with, and the actual proper sort of legal people involved, the actual law commission, has announced that it's going to have a review on this, in that if there is a hostility towards men as well, and the elderly, and whether or not these things need to be judged evenly, and if we're going to have hate speech protecting women, you should have hate speech protecting men as well, because equality, etc. And this is quite an interesting take on the whole thing. As they put it here, hate crimes are offences motivated by prejudice against someone's disability, race, religion, sexual orientation, or transgender identity. But should other so-called protected characteristics be included as well? And last month it was announced that a review by the Law Commission would look into whether offences driven by misogyny, dislike, contempt, or ingrained prejudice against women should be treated as hate crimes, and it's now emerged that amongst the same review they will also consider the opposite crimes motivated by misandry, hostility towards men.
Well, good. I mean,
Yeah.
not good that hate crimes like this should even be a thing and legislative, because I should be allowed to hate whoever I like for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But yeah,
it's
Uh-oh.
it's amusing. I the equality bit of it actually sort of it kind of rings true. If you're going to have these sorts of laws based on equality, you've got to have the corresponding ones so that it is handed out and meted out in an equal manner. I do think it would be amusing to see what the reaction for this is going to be, because I certainly run into what I would say is an equal amount of man-hating women as I have run into women-hating men. And I suspected that one or two people might be a wee bit salty
Just a
about
wee
this.
bit.
But would that, by chance, be the man-hating women?
Well,
These blue-haired crazies.
if by that you mean The Independent.
The Independent. The Independent published something, did they?
The Independent published something about this. And the fact that we're considering making misandry a hate crime should concern everyone who believes in equality. That's right, equal treatment of the law, regardless of gender, is an antithesis to equality, somehow. Would you like to know how they've managed to come up with that? Because that one's melting my brain a little bit. But there's usually a little bit of mental gymnastics involved here. It seems there's nothing women can have, not even their status as a protected class, marginalised sex class, whatever that is, that men will not expect them to share. Yes, that's right. Equality, ladies. Women, eh? Always saying that they want equal treatment, and then the moment it's offered to them, they start to complain.
Yeah.
What?
Equal treatment isn't equal, is what they're complaining here. The fact that they can't have something that men can, that they have to share. They have to share something with men. You know, equal treatment means equality across everyone, and women don't like that because women prefer special treatment. It seems, well, at least these women. I know not all. Hashtag not all. But Christ, how can you justify misandry because you hate misogyny? That's one hell of a.
This is a bit of a hot take. As a feminist, I confess I'm not happy about this. I'm also well aware of the way in which such unpleasantness will be perceived by many. Typical feminist, right? I say I want equality, but I actually want special treatment. I say I think women are strong, but actually we want them to be weak. I say feminism is about hating men, but actually it is. This is familiar argument territory. Let's see what they've actually. I'm trying.
Yeah. No shit. So you've heard all this shit before, but you're still willing to go through with it, which just goes to show the cognitive dissonance they have here.
I suspect it is unlikely that misandry will ever be made into a hate crime, but there is even the slightest possibility that it could be remains hugely concerning. It would undermine the most basic feminist arguments in favour of sex-based protections for women, effectively endorsing the MRA claim that reverse sexism exists, which it does, and I don't know why they're using MRA there, as if it's some sort of boogeyman kind of thing.
Because they love in their boogeyman.
When they mention boogeymans, sorry, MRAs up here. So-called? What do you mean so-called men's rights activists? MRAs routinely portray women's marginalised status as something to be envied. Feminists are accused of milking histrionic oppressions in order to appropriate power and resources in a world where positive discrimination in favour of women is rife. Has anyone looked at university enrollment figures lately?
So they're actively saying, right, that women aren't treated properly.
Let's have a look at prison population percentages, shall we? Let's have a look at the amount of people that commit suicide and who they might be, shall we? Let's have a look at wages under the age of 30, shall we?
It's starting to seem like you're trying to use hate facts here. Come on.
I'm saying nothing. All I'm saying is that if someone were to look at those particular bits of information, they might notice a certain trend that certain people might have suggested. Yeah. Just don't even. Reverse sexism. Sexism, treating people adversely based on their sex, gender, whatever. It doesn't matter if it was reverse. What's reverse? If women are being sexist towards men, or men are being sexist towards women, or fucking women being sexist towards women, it's not reverse all of a sudden just because one person. What? Mentalism.
It's because again, no, Drew, that they have the postmodern. I hate to use it, but they do actively have this mentality that in order to use these terms, you have to have the oppressor and the oppressed. And so, when the oppressor is using these terms against the oppressed, in their view, it is incorrect. It is the incorrect usage of that term. Therefore, reverse.
You know, this is off topic, and I wasn't going to get into postmodernism, but something has been wandering through my head a lot with regards to postmodernism. It might be my misunderstanding of the concept in a fundamental manner, but postmodernism, in a nutshell, is essentially a way of looking at the present as if you were from the future looking back at the present and trying to basically disassemble it in terms of power constructs, etc. The problem with that whole concept of postmodernism is actually very, very simply put, it's the principle of Schrödinger's cat. The very fact that you observe an experiment, the observer affects the experiment. The observer, by observing the thing, affects it. So the very fact that postmodernism is looking back on reality from its standpoint, from this observational, it's breaking its own rules. There's a fundamental fallacy there I would have to get into at some point. I think postmodernism is structurally flawed as a philosophy, based on the observer breaks the
sorry, I didn't mean to derail it at all. That's just their view on the world. That's how they justify calling people who are using racism in its correct terminology to call it reverse sexism, reverse racism. It's to essentially say that the concept is being used incorrectly because the person using it is an oppressor. Ugh.
I
think I've fully gone through that. But
we actually have people commenting in chat.
Boy!
Wow.
We have two individuals. One of a coat rack and one called
Clean your postmodernist philosophy, bucko. Love it. So yes. Where was I? Blah blah blah. Yes. It would be also provide further opportunities for abusive men to recast women's resistance to their demands as hate. Women and girls face enough censure for any failure to accommodate men and boys. Where would we be if the latter would start to claim our treatment of them was motivated by anti-male bigotry? Maybe, just maybe, if we all start dropping this bullshit, we could all actually start working together rather than standing there with knives at each other's backs all the fucking time. This is just divisive fucking bollocks, basically.
Yeah, right at the bottom it says exactly what I just said. Misogyny should not be recognized as a hate crime for the same reason that misandry should not be. Women and girls are systematically oppressed and exploited by men and boys. Exactly. I fucking called it. Before they even fucking state that, I already fucking called it.
Let's just double take on that. Misogyny should
be recognized as a hate crime.
It's not. It's written by a moron. Look at this. Misogyny should recognized as a hate crime.
Oh, should be.
No, there's no B in it. Just should recognized as a hate crime for the same reason that misandry should not be. Women and girls are systematically oppressed and exploited by men and boys. That is a massive fucking assertion. That's like all men and all boys are systematically just oppressing the living shit out of every single woman out there, as if it's two teams, and it's just so fucking not. This is insanity being imposed on people just getting on with their lives, and then going, "Oh well, you're being oppressed, ladies. That guy opening the door for you there, he was oppressing you and objectifying you as weak and feeble and not being able to open the door. And now he's going to expect you to eat and not even pay for it." In this lovely restaurant that he's taken you to, because he doesn't think you're capable of paying for your own food. This is the insanity. This just fucking. Shall we have a look at Twitter and how Twitter are responding to it? Because there's some hot takes on Twitter.
I just can't get over the fact that that these people are so predictable in their ideology that you can already see their conclusion before they fully made their argument.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this person has such a belief that men and boys are oppressing women and girls is so ludicrous and so fucking not based in reality. It's amazing. It's Christ. And to use that to justify that misandry shouldn't be a hate crime. Go suck my left nut, you fucking dyke.
Wow. No need for that language.
Damn.
There's every need for it. Fuck him. This stream is too British. No, we've got a Scotsman in here. Sorry.
Okay.
There is no such thing as being too British. Wanker. Bollocks.
Anglo stock is great. Right at the same time.
Blimey. Cool, blimey, Gov. Yeah, shall we
Cool,
British it
blimey,
up?
Yeah, pal.
And yeah, so we've even got the New Statesman. Of course, the New Statesman is having a re about it. Written in feminism, why misandry and misogyny should be treated differently when it comes to hate crime. More nonsense, written by feminists, going re about the whole thing.
And for the same reason.
Yeah.
It's so... The fact that there are so many writers and so many people who are all based in this exact same ideology and will write almost exactly the same article is fucking awful.
Yeah.
New Statesman article is referencing...
When you go from one article to another, you should be getting a different interpretation of what's going on.
Just copy paste.
I mean,
yeah, that's all it becomes.
I know, and I'm scanning through this, and they have managed... The writer of this particular one, I don't know if we'll go through this or not, but she is the founder and director of the Bristol Women's Literature Festival. She is currently the Ben Pimlott Writer in Residence at Birkbeck's University's Politics Department. So we have a feminist who's written this. She has cited as sources a Huffington Post article, and a BuzzFeed article, and an Amnesty International article. So that's... I mean, Amnesty used to be okay, but I kind of started to fall out with Amnesty.
I mean, I've just noticed Paulette put in the chat, I don't know if it's nonsense to ignore the differences between men and women when it comes to treating men and women different. And I agree, you should probably treat men and women differently in certain situations. I just don't believe that this is one of them.
Yeah, and if you're going to have a hate crime, a gender-based hate crime, no, certainly if we're talking about hate speech, that the whole thing can take a flying leap. But I mean, here's a question for you actually. If a person A commits an assault and a robbery or a crime on person B, should their motivation be part of the consideration for the crime? I mean, it's certainly going to be... yes, really? So because this is thought crime territory. The whole idea of hate crimes is a bit thought crime territory. If person A has committed a mugging or a stabbing or a rape or whatever, should their motivation for it, if it's a hate crime, if they particularly like stabbing, so if they're a white person, they particularly like stabbing up brown people. Should they be treated differently for the fact that that their motivations are different, or should they be treated for the fact that they've committed a stabbing offence and therefore be treated as a person who has committed murder? Should the motivation be a consideration of the crime? I'm beginning to have issues with it in general because it's a thought crime in any way.
Let me answer. Jesus. All right, I got the idea. Right. I do think motivation for crime should be a considerable factor. For example, if I go up and threaten you with a knife, then you would expect, that threat. My motivation is I'm going to stab you.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the motivation of, well, it's because you're black. Right?
Okay.
Does that make sense? And correct, good.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And Korak's made the point of different degrees of murder. Yes, so if a premeditated murder is different from a crime of passion or whatever. Yes, there is definitely a difference with regards to premeditation.
But yeah, it ideological, crimes. The motivation of doing it just because your ideology would permit you to, not so much. I think there's other ways to deal with that other than criminalization. But the actual crime itself and the motivation to do that crime, or if they're planning on committing a crime and the like, I think should be considerable.
Because I've heard, I've heard religious people explain why they murder groups of people because they do it out of love and care for that person's immortal soul. So they throw the gay person off the rooftop, and that's so. Is that a hate crime because they're doing that out of love? If, for example, do you see where I'm getting at? Yeah. I'm beginning to think we've fallen into a trap with this whole hate crime thing in general. There is a crime. We treat that crime as a crime. Yeah, the motivation for it certainly leads us to where and when they may have done it before and may do it again.
Yeah, Karak's just made the great point of a hate crime wouldn't be a crime without the hate, which is it's entirely thought crime. It's you hate this person and you've I don't know, said you hate this group of people or whatever, and it only becomes a crime because you hate them. It doesn't become a crime because you love any group. It doesn't become a crime for any of that reason.
So Stabby McStabber has decided that he really hates Bill over there because Bill's really pissed him off and he hates the shit out of that guy, so he's going to go and stab him. Is that a hate crime? Because he hates that guy more than anything else.
No, it wouldn't be.
Why? It's a very specific hate crime.
It is, but it wouldn't fall under hate crime because hate crimes, as spelled out in legislation, are generally due to race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, and the like. Very specific parts of what makes a person a person.
Right.
Dee's in the green room if you want to drag him in.
We want to drag D in? We could drag D. Let's drag
his
D
laugh will his laugh will get the clicks.
His laugh is it's something special, isn't it? There we go. We'll drag D in.
Jesus.
Welcome, D. How's it going, dude?
Oh shit! No, why are you bringing me in here? This is not good.
What are you in the green room for?
Wanted to come in.
The green room is specifically for a waiting room for joining the streaming. If you don't want to join, then that's okay.
No, that's fine. I just don't know what the hell's going on right now, man.
We're streaming, man.
We're streaming. That's the the whole people who are in the streaming thing.
Obviously, dude. I just don't know what the topic of discussion is.
Oh, we're talking about misandry and misogyny. And
Yeah.
misandry being the hatred of men.
Fun topics. Let's carry on.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
I was just suggesting that hate crimes might be kind of not a thing, sort of, but they are. But people can hate a group of people. They're racists exist, of all shapes and sizes and colours.
Why are they hating the women for that? What?
No,
They got nice boobies. They give you so much fun. What is the problem?
Well, some men hate women because they're ugly and incels. So they
and they can't
they can't get the Stacys.
There's some fat ugly man out there.
Look, Veronica was dating Chad, and she could have been theirs, but they could have lived happily ever after. But they live in a society, and instead, Veronica and Stacey are bitches now.
No, they don't live in a society. We live in a society, Frig.
You right.
Gamers, rise up. We've got to stop the Chads. We can't let them keep getting away with it.
Totally.
We live in a society.
Oh my god, where did this go? We were talking about sensible stuff.
Yeah, anyway, right, I think we've pretty much clarified, right?
Yeah.
Misandry, if you're going to class misogyny as a hate crime, you should also class misandry as for the sake of equality. And for the sake of treating people like they're people.
Yes.
Rather than like they're men or like they're women. Because that's how the judicial system should be operated.
So I agree with the Law Commission doing what they're going to do, which hopefully...
You know what the problem is, mate?
What?
They've been suppressed for such a long goddamn time.
So it's their turn? Is it their turn? So it's off to the death camps for us?
Mate. They need
Fuck
to dominate
yourself.
the human man like what the women were. They won't be happy until we're literally subjugated like what they were.
Who the fuck let him in?
I don't understand. Our entire society was built around women, for women.
To protect women.
How many women did you see going to fight for their lives in any war ever?
Fucking extreme feminists are off their face.
Yes, we know. I'm aware.
Welcome to 2014.
They're fucked up, man.
Look, this is Gamergate 8.0. We're bringing it back for the Zoomer generation. Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, shall we continue? Shall we move on to another one? Because that way D can be caught up.
D can be all caught up on it. Yeah, okay.
Also, it wasn't her fucking turn. All right, it wasn't. She didn't deserve it.
Okay.
Warmongering bitch.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
turn is next.
Yeah. Next topic.
Shall we talk about Canada and what's been happening in Canada with regards
on to the next
cycling?
meme.
The next meme. Onward. In fact, yes. This one's particularly special, right? Canada has the dubious honor. Well done, Canada. You have become the first country to have the first transgender woman win the female world title on track at the World Championships in Los Angeles for the 35 to 39 sprint. This is a cycling World Championship, and as we can see there, I'll just bring up the picture.
She has a penis.
I love seeing you flick through all the tabs as well. This is great.
Look. There's
professionalism.
Yeah,
at its fine. Anyway, I just want to say, as a trans woman, I'm pretty proud of Canada right now.
You're just a fat man.
You're not, just because you have breasts bigger than most women does not make you a trans woman.
If tits can't make me a woman, nothing will.
Should be a law that stops men from getting breast implants.
Oh, we're all going to jail now.
Wait, are we not allowed to do that?
No, I'm sure someone will pass a law in the future and then come back and get us with it because that's how things will start working. Crimes in the past will start getting judged on future laws. But there's the stunning and brave lass. Pardon, what?
D? What did you say?
I just opened up like 50 million tabs. Give me a sec.
Fuck's sake. Alright, D.
The-
Contribution accepted. Appreciate
It's
that.
okay, I'm back now. I need change
Alright.
this push to talk button.
Fuck's sake. Right. So, man, women wins female world champion. This is great.
She's certainly proving that that all the best women are actually men. Apparently, certainly according to the sports statistics at the moment, we've got trannies in MMA knocking the living daylights out of women, and yeah, again we've got a transgender woman has beaten the living daylights out of everyone on the track at
I hate to point out, but look how sad the other two women are on that podium. They look extremely upset. I don't blame them, but
you know
Jesus.
what, I really feel for them. This is rough. They, you know, after years of gender equality laws and this, that, and the other, and getting themselves so they've got female, so women can compete against other women fairly and win gold medals for themselves, etc. And then you've got some strapping great lady with short hair and glasses who basically looks like I mean, if you put her in inverted commas in a suit and tie, you wouldn't think it was a her. The other two, if you put them in a suit and tie, you would definitely think they were female. It's something that's yeah. I know I'm gonna be now attacked by millions of people for being a transphobe. Bring it on! I could do with the views, frankly. But seriously, this has got to stop. I'm beginning to feel, for the women's here. I'm gonna get my fedora out and milady this one a bit, because I'm beginning to think that this is not fair when you've got male-framed, male-bodied, penis-owning women literally just owning women left, right, and centre at sporting events, which is just not right, is it? It really isn't. Am I some sort of transphobe for this?
Yep.
No, I think that having a man transition to become a woman does not make them eligible for women's competition. You can call that transphobic if you like, but with how many transgenders we have, you may as well just start up a whole new
We have a hot comment.
Olympics for it.
We have a hot comment in chat. Women are just slacking and resting on their mild laurels. Oof.
Spicy.
Women just need to sack up a bit and
beat those men at cycling and
Stop
MMA.
being so fucking lazy. Get off your ass. Look at them. They could at least look how tall the tranny is. Look how short they are. Maybe they should just grow a pair of legs. Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear. Furious typing.
Furious
Where are you
typing.
gonna take us, Trig?
Are you taking us to hell and back?
Oh boy. Entertaining content.
Yes.
yeah. So
loving
it's
typing.
I'm just sort of at WY. Is it why men make the best women in sport? Oh god, I can't fucking because that's it really. Is they've got to have the Y chromosome in there, I think, to
You
really.
tried.
God, this is outrageous. This is just where I can imagine the feminists are just tearing themselves up with this. This is the TERFs and the rest of them are just eating themselves alive over this type of stuff. I might imagine. Lol.
Yeah. There's not a lot more to add to this.
No, it's just really just whatever. Damn, that sucks. Let's not do that one yet. We'll get to that in a moment. Shall we have a bit of a laugh about the French police and the Italians getting really miffed at them?
Sure.
Because I stumbled across this before, and we're going to treat it with a bit of a pinch of salt because it's from Breitbart, so when it's not likely to be the most fair article. It's probably going to have a bit of a lol sort of migrants kind of attitude. But when I saw the title, I thought I had to mention this because the French have confirmed that their police have apparently been dumping migrants in an Italian town. So yeah, the French have found an interesting way. The French police have found an interesting way of dealing with their migrant problem. It seems they are driving them over into Italy and dropping them off in town over there.
Solid idea.
Can you blame them?
Yeah,
I'm
let the Italians
surprised
deal with it.
the French have the resources to carry that many people over, you know? Oh.
Populist Italian Interior Minister Matteo Salvini has had harsh words for President Emmanuel Macron after French police confirmed they dropped off unwanted migrants in Italy, claiming it was a mistake. A mistake? A mistake?
What is this mistake to make?
Slipped over, accidentally put through them in a car, drove them across the border, and dropped them somewhere where not ours jurisdiction now. Fuck off. Oh dear. So Mr. Salvini criticised the French after they claimed the migrants had been dropped off in an Italian town of is that Chalviere? Chalviere, I think it is, by mistake, saying, what happened to Chalviere is an unprecedented offence against our country. Yes, absolutely. They have basically dropped off a bunch of people who are criminals, because they've been across the border illegally, dropped off there by the police. What the hell? Why were they in police hands in the first place? There's just so many questions. I wonder if international organisations do not find it sick to leave people in an isolated area without... Whoa, okay, so they were just dropped them off in the middle of a random town in Italy without assistance or reporting. They're just, here you go, there you go, we're off and we're out. Chad French police versus Virgin Italian PM.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, no, there's nothing Chad about the French police on this one.
And there's nothing
don't give
the
them...
Italian PM giving out about the fact that some migrants have been dropped off in their towns.
The question is, where is Italy going to start dropping them off? where are the Italians?
Salviari hits back saying abandoning immigrants in an Italian forest cannot be considered an error or an accident. So they weren't actually in the town. They were dropped off in the forest next to the town.
They get them into the forest. Did they have them at gunpoint?
Was this a catch and release program or something? They're not wild animals. Well, no. Who are these immigrants? Where did they come from? Where were they abandoned? And again, for civilian Paris, it is normal to drop people in the woods? Question mark. Why do the French speak of gendarmes when they do not know the way? The van returned to their country at great speed and without hesitation. Yeah, so they've got a van full of immigrants. They've driven across into Italy. They've booted them out into a forest next to a little Italian town, and then they've buggered off swiftly back to France and called it a mistake. A mistake! A mistake is where you don't tie your shoelaces properly and trip up as you walk out the door. This looks like there might have been some, I don't know, dare I say it, this looks like there may have been some purpose behind this. Someone may well have... You don't mistakenly drive people off. There wasn't...
Entire woodland tribes formed underneath these. They've sent so many migrants out there. They've just got...
Start forming their own civilizations.
Jesus.
They're forming their own town next to the Italian one.
It's like Stone Age.
You gotta start all over again.
Damn. Salvini, hypocrite Macron should either shut his mouth or open it. Wow. Okay. They're not happy about this. In late August, Macron vowed to stand against Salvini and other anti-mass migration politicians and parties across the continent, saying the right to asylum is in our constitution. It is enshrined in all of our European texts. Yes. The actual asylum seeker rights, and it is enshrined, says that you have the right to seek asylum in the closest peaceful country to you when you're fleeing war. The closest peaceful country to any war that's going off at the present moment would be somewhere around Turkey, etc. Certainly wouldn't be Italy, France, etc. These sorts of places require travelling great distances through peaceful countries. So anyway, that enshrined right in the constitution, etc. is, yes, it is enshrined there, but it doesn't mean mass migration from anywhere in the world to anywhere in Europe. And Macron knows that, and he's throwing that out there, thinking people don't read the European texts, etc., and the holy books, the holy texts, etc. In response, Mr. Salvini labelled Macron a hypocrite and said, "From the beginning of 2017 to the present day, France of the good Macron has rejected more than 48,000 immigrants at the borders with Italy, including women and children." Well done, France. I don't know. Would this be welcoming and supportive?
Eurocucks.
I was going to say, yeah. What the fuck, France? What the fuck, French police? Seriously, guys? Getting caught. That's just... Oh. Dropping them off in the woods. What are they, rabbits? Are they elk? Are they like, is it like bear? Do they need to, the woodland population's getting a bit thin on migrants. We need to stock them up. We've got some spare ones over here. We'll release them over here into the wild. I'm sure they'll mingle with the other roaming packs. What?
Paula, it's dangerous to go alone. Here, take this, and just hand them like a chocolate bar.
So, yeah, there was that.
Yeah, it's just how they get caught if they drop them off in a forest. Like, how did they go in one of their police vans? They didn't even bother trying to hide the fact that they. Oh, what? All right. Well, that's humorous. Jesus fucking Christ, France.
Now, I want to see more sources on this to actually sort of declare it to be a true thing. As I said, it is a Breitbart article, so a tiny pinch of salt might need to be taken there. But on the whole, they're usually, and you know what? There's too much sources with regards. I believe this. I believe this has actually happened, and damn, what the fuck, guys? Just wow. So, should we do another light-hearted one before we talk about Saudi Arabia?
I'm talking about Saudi Arabia again.
Because Sorry, what you say, Craig?
I was going to say, let's just do the Saudi Arabians first and end on a lighter note.
Oh, okay. Because we talked a little bit about Saudi Arabia the other day.
Just a bit.
And this Jamal Khashoggi guy. And I don't think we mentioned at the time, but apparently the reason there seems to be a recording of the torture and death of Jamal Khashoggi was, it was mentioned that there seemed to be an iPhone, not an iPhone, an iWatch rather, involved in it that was recording the whole thing, and that got leaked up to the cloud. and that apparently, as far as I can tell, it then from there it has now been put into the hands of various officials from various countries. There's a few iffy things with regards to this, and actually Philip DeFranco mentioned it in a video he did, I think it was last night, that's probably actually not what happened, and this iPhone watch thing is a made-up story, because it's actually probably something more like an intelligence agency in there has recorded it, because if he'd had the phone would have been outside in the car, because he didn't have the phone with him, because his missus has still got the phone, and so if he had the phone in the car and the watch on him, would the range of the watch been capable of doing that? Would he have been able to? I'm not sure if the watch would have been capable of doing what he said it did.
It hasn't even been confirmed whether it was his watch or phone. It was just.
There is a recording. I'm willing to believe there is a recording, because everyone seems to be very convinced this guy is tortured, dead, and dissected, sadly. Poor chap. Now, what got me with regards to this is some of the reactions that have happened worldwide, because we've seen, I think it was Richard Branson has sort of said he would be working away from business deals with regards, working with Saudi Arabia. There is an awful lot of people claiming they want to sort of look into it heavily. Obviously the media is going bananas about this, because it's one of their own. Donald Trump says he wants to look into it and doesn't want to make any rash decisions. Of course, there are billions of dollars and huge numbers of jobs at stake here with regards to Saudi Arabia, and then Saudi Arabia goes and reacts in a way that only Saudi Arabia could, with it just looked like saber rattling and how dare you question us kind of behaviour, with this whole if you impose sanctions on us, if you dare oppose us in any way, we'll explode the entire economy of the world, and we'll give sanctions to the Russians to build military bases in Saudi, which, holy fucking shit, guys, that's one of the most mental things I mean.
No, I love this story. If you look into it, it's we didn't know. We have no idea who this Khashoggi guy even is. One of the princes was like, "Oh, I have no clue who he is. Never even heard of him." And that same prince later comes out and goes, "Oh yeah, we do know who he is. Yeah, he did die. It was an accident. We were interrogating him."
Yeah.
Apparently, it was an interrogation mishap.
Yes.
The kind of interrogation mishap with a bone saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how quickly their story dissolved itself.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're now threatening people over this is a sign that they are of guilty conscience.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but these people are on the UN Security Council and Women's Rights Council.
Yep.
Aren't they?
Yep. Paid their way in.
Ka-ching.
This is. I'm just saying, this is really freaking bad. I said this at the time when it happened. They have done something really ridiculously stupid in killing this guy, and it's going to play out really badly. And you know what? I can't. A lot of people are criticizing Trump for wanting for not acting firmly enough at this point in time. He's in a position whereby he's now left. How many people? How do you react to this? Because this guy's dead. He is done. and Saudi are now in a shitstorm, a media shitstorm, etc. But what actually do you do? Do you impose sanctions on them? Well, if they do that, they start rattling the saber. They start inviting Russia in, and at that point, we're heading very rapidly towards something a little bit warmer than is normal. Well, not that unknown in the Middle East, but we're talking about there being planes in the air again, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I think
it's crazy. How do you escalate this over one man? Can you not? I mean, Jesus Christ, this is craziness.
I think the best thing to do is invite one of the princes to the the U.S. embassy in Istanbul, just for a quick chat to sign off on some just to sign off on some papers.
Sign off.
We might do a bit of interrogation, but no harm done.
Maybe a gunman will come along and have a little shoot.
You know what? Memeing aside, there's a thing that used to go off in the old world, medieval times, etc. That the more I start to think about it, actually had some sense. The idea of and I'm not when I say the word, everyone's going to react as if I'm talking about the modern day usage of the word hostage. But a couple of 100 years ago, it was quite common where royal families would basically ship off a number of their offspring, or second cousins, etc., to foreign lands to be hostage to a wealthy king abroad, wherever, and they would raise them as their own, and it would help foster good relations between those two countries.
Yeah,
a certain amount of trust. We do sort of the same sort of thing, but we allow people to travel to and from. But this whole idea of actually going, right, no, actually we're going to take a bunch of your royal family, we're going to sit them over here, they're going to live there very, very nicely, but if you screw with us, they dead.
Most of the Saudi princes come over to England.
I know.
For education.
I know.
I'm not quite sure how effective that might be.
So, I don't know.
I genuinely don't have a clue how to handle this, and I'm sure Trump has a bunch of advisors with him to properly go through this and make the right decision.
Yeah, and he'll have a bunch of his generals who will be going, right, okay, well, what we'll do is we do this, that, and the other, and they'll have planned out a war machine already for him. They'll have already worked out 50 different battle plans to how to regime change Saudi Arabia if they need to be. But that's what your generals do. That's all they know how to do. And then what you have is all your other advisors desperately trying to make sure that never has to happen.
Yeah.
Because when the planes are in the air and the tanks are rolling, you've run out of all other options. That's when diplomacy and politics and everything else has failed. Yeah. That is your worst option ever for winning.
Possibly, it could possibly the absolute reverse. To what I think should be done might actually have to occur, which is getting close and nice with the Saudis and having military bases and the like placed within Saudi to prevent Russian intervention.
There's already military bases. There's already huge amounts of stuff that's good with the Saudis. We've been doing a huge amount of business. America has been doing a colossal amount of business with the Saudis for the last 50 years, and now they're suddenly reacting like this. It's not all of a sudden they've been a bit Saudi. They've been chopping people's hands off for theft forever. How do you handle this one though? It's bonkers. Saudi are bonkers for getting themselves in this situation. I mean, literally chopping somebody up on foreign soil on Turkey of all places. Turkey. Erdogan's loving this. This is such a mess. Such a mess.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's so much going off in the world, and we do need to probably have state-enforced tinfoil hats. Because the way this is going.
Absolutely, definitely. At least double or triple wrapped tinfoil hats. And if you go for the yeah.
I get the feeling that something bigger is gonna happen very soon.
Well, there's a lot going off at the moment, it's a bit worrisome. It's a lot worrisome. So we'll have to see. But
yeah, Paulette just made quite a good summary. If Turkey plays this really well, they'll acquire EU status.
Yes.
So yeah, everyone who is anti-Saudi at this current moment and can get quite smooth with EU and the US are gonna probably have their coffers filled.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this has been.
In fact, it may be better for the Russians to be anti-Saudi for a bit, to better align themselves with the EU and the US. They won't like to, but it will.
If everybody goes anti-Saudi, that's dangerous. That's when they will get angry and aggressive, and they've just been given lots of expensive toys. They've been throwing at the Yemenis, and they will not go down quietly if everyone stops playing ball with Saudi. So that's a danger. Who knows whether that's going to be a positive or negative in the world. Good God, the idea of the West meddling in regime change in the Middle East again makes me freaking shudder.
Yeah, I know.
Let's not.
The thing is, the Russians can't. I don't see how the Russians can cooperate with the Saudis and come off better from it. All it will mean is more sanctions and a worse rap for Russia in the long term.
The thing is, actually, on some levels, the idea that the Saudis and the Russians working together, that's kind of amusing just from what I know of Russians. and how Islam tends to not go down very well in Russia. That could be a catastrophic relationship in its own right. So, like I said, well, we will see, but certainly they seem to be.
Bullet makes a point that if you think those toys don't have a stop switches, you are full. So
yeah, those weapons will have stop switches.
They will have
just
switches.
How many and which ones?
Well, I imagine they've probably got some way to categorize them.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that the weapons the Saudis have as well aren't all complete. They're not. The US isn't that dumb.
It's not so much they have stop switches. It's that all modern fighters and all modern tanks have things called IFF systems, which help them identify each other on a modern battlefield. So air traffic controllers and battlefield commanders, etc., can know where all their forces are on the field, etc., at any one time.
Yeah.
If, as Pollitt has widely said there, they've got these things. So yes, if you've got a whole bunch of Saudi weapons that are on the field, and they're all American made, they're all top-end American kits, I guarantee you the Americans will be able to see exactly where they are in the sky at any given moment, or where they are on the battlefield, and it will not be difficult for them to target. And yes, it's it's not a matter of a kill switch, it's a matter of there they are, let's shoot at them now. And I think if the Saudi army realise that, they will fucking down tools very, very quickly and run away, which is what everybody does when the American army comes to play anyway. Because standing against that thing is pointless.
No, actually, the most interesting player in this will actually probably be China.
Oh, I was going to say China. China.
Always China.
China are going to come in very
get
quietly.
all their oil from Saudi.
Yes, I know, but they're going to come in very quietly and buy everything, whilst everyone else is squabbling.
Yeah. We need to...
They're going to sit there going, no, we're not expansionist.
We're fine. We just buy a bunch of land.
We just have oil. It's okay. We
It's
don't
real estate.
Anyway.
It's paid. It's costly real estate.
Nothing to see here. China, they're going to win everything at this rate if we're not careful. Anyway. There has been, let's go on to slightly more troubling and, well, more local news, shall we say? Rather than Saudi, yeah, hearing myself now.
Yeah.
Because we have the Speaker of our venerable Parliament.
Order!
John Bercow, who I don't know if you've ever seen John Bercow in action. He's a legend. He's
a good lad.
He's yeah, I don't know how or why or the details of this, but someone's accused him of bullying. He's a speaker in the House of Commons. He's usually quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I've seen him, he's got a bit of wit to the man.
Yeah.
He's usually he seems like an extremely affable chap, for want of a slightly more British statement.
Yeah.
I think affable will do. Now, apparently, it comes after Dame Laura Cox said bullying and harassment were not to be dealt with. Women's and Equalities Commission chairwoman Maria Miller and senior Labour MP Sir Kevin Barron both said new leadership was needed. So basically, there have been a number of, or one at least, claims that the Speaker of the House of Commons is bullying people, and as a result we now have the Women's Inequalities Commission chairwoman, a Labour MP, and some other, and Dame Laura Cox basically putting political pressure on Sir John to, or is it Sir John or just John? Just John, I think it is, isn't it? To stand down. And I'm not going to play the video because BBC are swines for this sort of thing. Not that I'm monetized in any way, shape, or form, but whatever. He's essentially come out with a statement to say that he's going to be stepping down within a year or so, and that this sort of behaviour needs a third-party group to look into this that are not in any way, shape, or form connected to either side of the Parliament, and can deliver a thorough and unbiased report on bullying in the House of Commons. Part of me is a little irked at this because, quite frankly, this is the House of Commons. This is Parliament. This is where the laws. This is the laws of our land. Bullying in the Great Debate Chamber of the House of Commons sounds slightly absurd. Now,
well, it should be common. You should ridicule those with dumb ideas.
This is precisely it. It sounds insane to.
Yeah, all it's gonna do is make people who come up with dumb ideas have the need to be validated. So it doesn't matter how dumb their idea is, and you won't be able to ridicule them. You won't be able to attack their idea because you can just classify it as bullying.
Party whips are literally the bully in chief of each political party. Party whips are there to terrify the MPs into voting in the correct way as is decided by the party. And to part of me just, and I'm maybe I'm being a terrible MRA MGTOW, incel or something that will never see a woman naked again after staying through this, but I've got a sneaking suspicion what we're going to see here is John Bercow step down, and then the Women and Equalities Committee, who have started this, will shout out that the new the new Speaker of the House of Commons should definitely not have a Y chromosome, because that's the reason why they shouldn't. That should be the primary requisite. I've got a sneaking suspicion this is it's an our turn kind of attack.
It's a woman's power play.
I'm saying that's what I'm just getting a whiff of that, and I'm just making a suggestion that that's what I think's going to happen, because we see things like it's the radical change is needed over Commons bullying, and analysis Dame Laura Cox lightning strike. It's got all the whiffs of BuzzFeed hit piece.
Much like that, yes. It's a look. This man was bullying women. Therefore, if we have a woman in power,
I'm not saying. I mean, none of this has been said yet. I'm just calling it right now. I'm just saying
they will wait until an election of the new speaker comes about.
Yeah, that's going to be next year. That's going to be, in 9 months' time or so. So we're gonna sit there and wait and watch this one. But I'm just calling this one right now. Maria Miller said management change was needed in the House of Commons. That's
not a call for women to rise up.
Oh, where is it?
They should just outright do the opposite of gamers, right? Just look, all these virgins in this chamber. Women rise up.
There's going to be something about solidarity, or we'll see. Maybe not yet. At this point in time, they're just at the mud throwing point yet. They haven't come up with the I know what will cure this. We need women's and whoever's best, as far as I'm concerned. We've had 2 female prime ministers of this country. One was bloody excellent, one was bloody awful. I know some people are going to disagree with me with regards to Thatcher. I happen to have a lot of respect for Thatcher. Sure, she made some mistakes, but damn, she was a fine prime minister. And come on, we'll have arguments about that one later, I'm sure. I'm just saying, I Maggie didn't do nothing. So yeah, I think John is under attack, and I reckon we're going to see about a year before he's out, and we'll get an attack on that position.
Rise up.
Yeah,
I think we'll see a lot of that in the next year. I mean, it's been building towards it anyway, like with the Labour and we need more women in our party.
More women.
Yeah, that it's just gonna completely engulf all of politics. I wouldn't be surprised if the House of Lords becomes the House of Ladies, if you ask me, to be honest.
Milady.
House of Baronesses.
Milady. Have all of the have all of the guards and everything with their fedoras and neckbeards.
Their shining white armor.
Don't. Okay, we're going to go for a couple. Well, one last news item, and then we're going to have a laugh at the recent memes. So before we go straight onto the memes, more news in the men being better at women than women subject. Apparently, The Circle, Alex Hoburn, how he became Kate. Imagine constructing a whole new personality for yourself, complete with new face and a new gender. Now try pretending to be that person for a whole 3 weeks. I'm sorry, but there are trannies out there that have done it for a lot longer than 3 weeks, mate. But just saying. Right. To a group of strangers who only met you through an app. Okay, that's always a terrifying thing no matter who you are. And frankly, if you're meeting people through an app, pretending to be someone you are not might not be a terrible idea, because there's going to be weirdos there. Or is it you that's the weird? There's always going to be one weirdo in a group of people that you've met through an app, I guarantee it.
Well, I mean, it's fortunate that he didn't go further and try and get these people to meet him, because that would be classified as catfishing.
Yeah.
He would be arrested for it.
Yeah.
It's fortunate that he won himself 75 grand.
Yeah, this is it. Oh, and every move is being filmed and broadcast to the nation. Well, that's what Alex Hoburn did on Channel 4's reality TV show, The Circle, winning himself 50 grand in the process by being voted the winner by his fellow contestants, as well as winning an extra £25,000 in the public vote.
Good lad.
Wow. Okay, brief recap for those who didn't watch, and that would be me, because TV, what, why? Anyway, the contestants were asked to create a social media profile, complete with bio and profile pic, and could be either themselves or massage the truth. Well, he massaged the truth quite a bit, didn't he? Of the original 6 contestants, 1 woman knocked a few years off her age, and 1 gay man pretended to be straight, but Alex chose to take on a completely new identity. Some people criticised The Circle, saying it promoted catfishing, creating a false persona to trick others online, especially as Alex, or Kate, had built up a close fellow friendship with finalist Dan Musaku. But social media comedian Alex, 26, who used his girlfriend Millie's picture to pose as Kate, tells the BBC that it wasn't how he saw it, and here, in his own words, he explains his roller coaster experience.
Yeah. No, when you're the one catfishing, you won't see it as a bad thing, would you? Besides, he's just won himself 75 grand. He's not exactly going to go, oh yeah, I did a terrible thing. I feel really guilty about it. No, fuck that. I've got 75 grand. Why am I even doing this fucking interview?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, and you know what? To be fair, his girlfriend Kate, his girlfriend's she's cute. So he went on, he took his photograph of his girlfriend up there, and player is fucking right, damn right, well done, mate. I have to say, this is kind of funny.
Jesus Christ, this is fucking great.
I was really happy Christopher.
How can you not be? 75 grand.
I'm absolutely chuffed to bits for this lad. Well done. I hope he and his girlfriend run off and enjoy that money and well, let this be a lesson.
They're gonna have a terrible breakup.
Can I just say, this is a lesson to everyone. Lol. Dating people on the internet. Sometimes the photograph may not represent what you find in reality.
Tell us something we don't know.
People lie on their dating profiles.
No way.
Yep, I know. Big shock for everyone there. I can't believe that's actually news, but this guy got 75 grand for his bogus very, very bogus dating profile. Well done to him. Well done. This guy, go off on holiday. Yeah, go off on holiday for 2 months. Come back. In fact, just come back after Christmas, and after having spent half of it or whatever on a freaking great time, and no one will remember, and stick the rest down as a deposit on a house. You're sorted. It's not a bad little plan or whatever. Well done, frankly. Well done.
Congrats to the winner of that show, I guess.
Yeah.
So, as we have proven, men are better than women again at being women.
Yes.
This is just another example.
Apparently, that's right. Now, what we're going to wrap up on is something I noticed on a Reddit post I saw. The NPC meme. Have we all seen the NPC meme of late?
It's hard not to see.
I'm not on Twitter, so you'll have to.
Well, that's okay because there are no NPC memes on Twitter anymore.
Oh, that's right. Why would that be? What?
Okay, so basically, you know the NPC meme, the whole idea that there are a bunch of people out there that can't think for themselves and can only seem to say pre-recorded, scripted phrases, and when you actually challenge them to think, they can't, and so they just get angry. And as a result, there's been a whole bunch of Wojak memes all over social media, everywhere. And apparently the people who have been calling so many people Russian bots over the last 2-3 years got very, very upset about suddenly being called NPCs by the Russian bots, and they got so angry about it that Twitter has literally genocided all NPC memes from Twitter.
What could their possible reasoning be? I mean, it's not harassment. It's not.
Apparently, whilst calling someone a Russian bot is fine, but calling somebody an NPC and making fun of them, and some of those NPC memes have been quite hilarious, actually. Let's see if we can find some. Another window or something. Yeah, they were.
So you're telling me that this was what, some sort of dehumanizing way of mocking the left, but calling someone a Russian bot is not.
I don't think it was dehumanizing anyone, to be perfectly honest. I think so that is generally I think it was just very, very, very funny. And
yeah, I imagine.
They were getting somewhat upset about it, they being the people that don't like these sorts of things. Here we go. I've just found #NPC meme on Twitter because they can't stop them. And as you can see, it's just, surely Orange Man isn't as bad as you purport him to be. Orange Man bad. But it's one of my favorites. NPC meme is dehumanizing. We are all unique and special. I'm sorry. It's just downright funny. Humor has disappeared from the internet.
You don't say.
I was enjoying this. I mean, you may as well ban. I was about to say Pepe, but they banned Pepe, didn't they? You may as well ban, I don't know, Ugandan Knuckles. Or did they ban Ugandan Knuckles for being racist?
I did see a few articles at the time calling it racist, despite it being a reference to something else. Yeah, the left just cannot handle
humor.
Anything humorous. They see this as dehumanizing, but I don't see that any real excuse to be purging Twitter accounts and the like for simply making a joke.
Not for having a bit of a giggle with the meme. It's there's some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter. Yeah, here we go. I'm sorry, but this one kills me.
Oh God.
Mark Zuckerberg. One as well.
That's horrifying.
I'm sorry, but if you're Mark Zuckerberg and you're watching this,
kill yourself.
Lend us a $5, and I mean million. No, I mean, sorry, but if you're going to be that rich, you deserve people to make fun of you. If you can't take people making fun of you when you're that loaded, then you really don't deserve the money. You deserve to be mocked more. So
us right here deserve the money far more than you. All three of us here. You know, Zucky.
It's just sad that people with hundreds of followers I've seen have just had their account taken down.
Yeah,
This is fucking ludicrous. I mean, we've seen people get banned for less, but you know, it's okay to be grey. Grey pride worldwide. This is all fucking good.
So yeah, that was the NPC meme, but apparently the NPC meme is hate speech. So we're goddamn RIP that one, I guess.
Oh well, maybe someday the left will learn to have fun and actually enjoy a joke. Even if it's made at their expense.
I don't think they can.
Well, I mean, they are NPCs, so maybe they're not programmed to properly respond to this kind of banter.
They get the humor and the sports. They've been told that Amy Schumer is very funny.
Oof. Amy Schumer is my favorite comedian. I love the sport.
You sound like you're trying to do a Peterson impression whenever you do that.
Shut up, faggot.
You shut up, faggot. Fight me.
What was the tweet I saw the other day about Amy Schumer? So when she was a child, everyone laughed at Amy Schumer, sort of saying she wanted to be a comedian. Well, no one's laughing now.
So meta.
People haven't been laughing at her for a very long time.
Oh, jeez, yeah, damn. So yeah, that was That's everything I think I've got to speak on at the present moment, unless anyone's I think we're pretty much
news report coming in. Stasi is a big gay.
Yep.
Well, Craig is a furry.
Stasi is a big fat gay.
Craig sucks my left nut.
Can confirm I don't.
Can confirm you do.
Can confirm I fucking don't.
No, I think that's everything. I think we've...
Don't deflect.
Shut up. I'm trying to move on.
Are you really?
No. I think that's everything. I think we've covered the week's news.
Yeah, I think we've done the roundup.
Okay. So I think we're gonna call it a day at this particular point in time.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, we streamed for a couple hours.
We've done. Yeah, it's been about an hour and a half or so. So let's wrap it up on that. And
yep.
Thanks, guys. It's been great.
Bye, faggots.
Oh, if you want to win in the Olympics, just transition to a woman. There you go. Advice of the day.
Absolutely.
Is that a croissant? Absolute dickhead. Fuck you. Fuck this.
Alright, take it easy, everyone. Good night now.
Goodbye, all.
See you later.